Mrs. Johnson is a single mother with Jason, her only son. You see, her husband had died, leaving her with so much wealth. After the death of her husband, Mrs. Johnson reclined into self-pity and depression, but she didn't want her son Jason, who just turned 2, to grow up without a father and a companion. But she also didn't want to get married again. So instead, she adopted another child, same age as Jason, and named him John. Jason and John grew up together and loved each other. Their mother never showed favoritism, but encouraged competitiveness between the two boys. Every night, she would tell them never to compromise on their values and character in whatever they do. Years later, the boys turned 16 and went to college. Just before I continue, quickly like, subscribe, and turn on notifications to get more exciting videos. Back to my story. Jason lived a life of extravagance and flamboyance, but John condemned himself to reading and studying. He was dedicated to make his mom proud and happy because he had seen her weep so many times in private. John therefore became the best student in his class, and he was later appointed as the president of the student union. He won a plethora of prizes both for himself and the school. He was applauded by many. But on the other hand, Jason kept living carelessly. He paid no attention to his studies, and after much influence, he joined a cult in the school, and later even rose to become the leader of the group. Ironically, both boys became the head of their different groups. After they both graduated, John became a remarkable medical doctor, and his name spread abroad far after he had successfully performed an impossible nerve transplant during his housemanship. Whereas there had been news of a notorious criminal wanted for his crime against the state. John had always wanted to help Jason with his studies and had always given him several advice on turning a new leaf and becoming serious with his studies, but they all fell on deaf ears. 3 years later, John became the first medical doctor to receive a Nobel Prize in nerve transplants, and he was going to be in the papers the following day. On his way home after the conference, he was attacked by some bandits. The robbers took his car and other belongings and hit him in the head instead of killing him, because the leader had given instructions not to kill him. Oblivious of the tracker that he had installed in his car, the bandits drove to their safe house to divide the spoil, but a few hours later, the police arrived to the scene and arrested them. They took in the ringleader, whose name happened to be Jason Johnson, and they identified him as the wanted criminal the state had been looking for. His face was also put in the papers the following morning. Back at home, Mrs. Johnson went out to buy a copy of the newspaper and saw on the front page, Dr. Johnson John receives a Nobel Prize for a successful nerve transplant. She smiled, but her smile was short-lived when she saw just underneath the paper, boldly written, notorious criminal Jason Johnson finally arrested. She collapsed. She woke up in the hospital and saw John sitting by her bed, and the television in the room casted the news of the two brothers. The investigation had been made to come to the conclusion. The newscaster ended her statement saying, "Could this be a double side of fame? One brother becomes famous by doing good, and the other doing evil. I can only have pity for the mother." Mrs. Johnson remembered the words she used to tell her children every night.